The Last Word, Episode 3. When the system refuses to act. Intro. In the last episode, I walked you through the evidence, the documents, the contradictions, the misrepresentations, and the unlawful actions taken by Cornwall Council. But evidence, as I learned, is only half the battle. The other half is getting someone to act on it. And that's where the system showed its true face. This episode is about what happens when you report wrongdoing and the institutions designed to protect the public decide not to protect you. Section 1, Action Fraud, the First Wall. In October 2021, I submitted a detailed report to Action Fraud. I included everything. The unlawful charges. The misrepresentation of statutory duties. The illegal property caution. The financial harm. The emotional harm. The evidence trail. I expected, at the very least, an investigation. What I received was a template letter. A polite, bureaucratic dismissal. A statement that no viable line of inquiry had been identified. Despite the fact that the individuals involved were identifiable. The documents were clear. The misrepresentations were recorded. The financial loss was real. The conduct met the statutory definition of fraud. It was as if the evidence didn't matter. As if the law didn't matter. As if the system had already decided the outcome before reading a single page. Section 2, the police response, a system designed to deflect. When Action Fraud refused to act, I tried again. I contacted the police directly. I explained the evidence. I explained the law. I explained the harm. And the response? A familiar pattern. It's a civil matter. We can't investigate. It's a dispute with the council. There's nothing we can do. But fraud by false representation is not a civil matter. It is a criminal offence under the Fraud Act 2006. The law is clear. The evidence was clear. The harm was clear. But the system wasn't interested. Because investigating a private fraudster is one thing. Investigating a local authority, that's something else entirely. Section 3, the LGS the Ombudsman who refused to ombudsman. When the police refused to act, I turned to the Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman, the body supposedly responsible for holding councils to account. I submitted evidence. I submitted timelines. I submitted legal analysis. I submitted proof of misrepresentation, procedural unfairness, and unlawful actions. And what did the LGSCO do? They refused to investigate. Not because the evidence was weak. Not because the law was unclear. Not because the complaint was out of time. I had new evidence, and the law allows for that. They refused because investigating would require them to confront something they didn't want to confront. Systemic wrongdoing inside a local authority. The LGSCO is not designed to expose systemic issues. It is designed to manage them quietly. To contain them. To minimize them. To avoid political fallout. And so they closed the door. Another institution. Another refusal. Another layer of protection for the council, not for the public. Section 4 with the realization, this isn't failure. It's design. There's a moment in every fight where you stop thinking the system is broken and start realizing it's working exactly as intended. Action Fraud didn't fail. The police didn't fail. The LGSCO didn't fail. They did exactly what the system is built to do. Protect institutions. Not people. Because if they investigated one case, they'd have to investigate them all. If they admitted one unlawful charge, they'd have to refund thousands. If they acknowledged one misuse of power, they'd have to confront a culture of misconduct. And that is something the system is not prepared to do. Not voluntarily. Not without pressure. Not without exposure. Section 5, the emotional cost of being ignored. Being dismissed by the system is not just frustrating, it's devastating. You begin to question yourself. You begin to doubt your own evidence. You begin to wonder if justice is even possible. And all the while, the harm continues. The financial pressure. The fear of losing your home. The emotional toll on your partner. The exhaustion of fighting alone. The system counts on that exhaustion. It counts on people giving up. It counts on silence. But I didn't give up. Because by this point, I knew something important. If the system refuses to act, you have to force it to. Closing. In the next episode, I'll tell you what happened when I stopped trying to persuade the system and started challenging it. The legal filings. The evidence bundles. The procedural battles. The moments where the council's story began to crack. And the point where I realized I wasn't alone, that others, like Andy Dunstan, had lived the same nightmare. This is where the fight becomes collective. This is where the truth becomes undeniable. And this is where the system starts to feel the pressure.